guess I wouldn't need faith. I guess if I never felt, I guess I wouldn't need grace. I guess if I knew his plans, I guess he wouldn't be God, God, God. So maybe I don't know. 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 But maybe that's okay. All this stuff I can't explain. Is it by design or random fate? So maybe I don't know. 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 But maybe that's okay.
That was beautiful, Alyssa. And is that a new one?
A song by Joan Bellion. It's actually a cover.
Okay. Yeah. We had a bunch of postcards that we did a few years back, and one of them said, "You've got questions? We've got questions too." Because as soon as you think you got the answer, then you stop being open. Anyway, good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. Welcome to the middle of October. And you kind of know the drill with Zoom gatherings at this point. Leave your microphone muted for the most part so that we can make sure that the people who are speaking don't get interference or background noise or things like that going on. Because when everybody talks on Zoom at the same time, it's quite a cacophony. Speaking of which, we're going to have a little cacophony now. I'm going to invite you to speak along. So unmute your microphone and repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I
I
open
open
myself to
joy.
I open myself to happy coincidences.
I
Open myself
happy
to happy
coincidences.
coincidences.
I know good is surrounding me right here and now.
I know good is
Good is
surrounding me right
me
here.
right
now.
now.
I accept it.
I accept it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. And you can go back on mute now. This is applause. Actually, it turns out you can applaud and clap your hands together with the mic muted, and it does the same thing. But 6 months of weekly Zoom meetings. Oh, and as Sarah is pointing out, there's also a reaction icon that you can do that. Yeah. And when we get around to raising our hands, there's a raise hand button on your participant panel, maybe. So all sorts of ways that we can just take giant leaps into another week of this. So I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our music today is the amazing Alyssa Garcia. Thank you so much for being with us. Yeah, one of those. And our master of ceremonies is Breen Rourke.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Alyssa. So speaking of taking giant leaps, New Thought Philadelphia is an open, loving community of spiritual adventurers. So we leap into these spiritual adventures. We welcome each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you here with us today, wherever you're headed next, we are grateful for your presence here. Welcome. We believe that there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we all use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our life according to our beliefs, or as we like to say, our new life begins with a new thought. Right now, I invite you to take any extraneous electronic devices that you're not using to Zoom with us and just go ahead and put them on mute so they don't disturb you during the celebration. And now we will begin everything with a practical prayer. And today, Jo Catanzaro, RSCP, is our practitioner of the day, and she will lead us in our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. Take a deep breath and settle in and center. And realize that there is only spirit within us, around us, through us, as us. There's one power, one presence. It's love, wisdom, intelligence, energy. May we be fully conscious of this presence. May we see it as the sustaining principle in our lives. And then may each of you know, as I know, that there's only good. That's the only thing that's real. Today, through this time together, this celebration, we will experience that truth, that beauty, that harmony, and that goodness. Our thoughts create productive action. All this good already exists. We believe in it, and our faith in that spirit, in that one power, makes that unseen visible. All of this is ours now, and I'm thankful for it. It flows into our lives because our thoughts can create it. I know it, I claim it, and I accept it on behalf of each one here. And so I release this word, my word, to the creative power, creative law, that from the beginning of time has always said yes, and so it is.
Thank you, Joe. So one reason we do prayer, pretty much the main reason we do prayer, is because it works. So now is the time we'd like to open up to the community to share about how prayer is working in your life. So you can raise your hand and unmute your mic, and we'll share our prayer work stories with the world. So, Sarah?
So on Thursday, I had decided that was going to be the day that I did all the stuff that I needed to do this week. So I pushed it all onto one day. I had to go down the shore, and I had 3 different stops. So on my way down, I have that whole hour and some change. So I'm like, okay, let me tap in and let me create a practical prayer so that I have a really great day. And so I made my original practical prayer was all about like getting the right answers and being able to put the right pieces together to have a solution. And long story short, my contact was 45 minutes late, did not apologize for being late, wasn't the nicest human in the world, but I got all of the answers that I needed, and I can put together a plan. So I realized, okay, there's one more element that I want, not just the answers, but I want like humanity and like compassion and like a connection. So on my way to the next appointment, I did, all right, I want to have all of the answers, but this time I want it to be in a really beautiful and compassionate package. And so the next stop that I had, the woman was sweet as can be, peaches and cream, like offered me lots of stuff. We like walked out to the beach together and like had a nice conversation, and still walked away getting all the answers that I needed and being able to put together a plan. So this is me saying, like, even if you don't get it 100%, like the way that you thought you wanted it the first time, all you have to do is try again with that new thought process in mind, and you can still get what you want. So I don't know. It was one of those where like, you gotta be really aware of what it is you actually want instead of what you think you want, so that you can get both. So prayer works.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's a great illustration of being clear with what we want. Who else? I know I've got 2 that I can share. Anybody else? I want to give folks a chance. All right, Bill.
Yeah, I'm going to share one. Actually, this is not my prayer work story. This is Kathy Schbach's prayer work story. And when she shared this with me yesterday, I said it's a prayer work story for tomorrow morning. And since she's not here, I'm saying it. As you know, her house was up for sale, and they closed on it on Thursday with a higher selling price than they had expected, and it was sold as is. And so they didn't have to fix anything up. It was a very quick process. And then, of course, there was the question about where Kathy is going to live. She'd been working for the Salvation Army in Camden for a couple of years now. And it turns out that they have staff quarters, a duplex, right near the workplace. And so they're letting her stay there, no charge. So just opening up to that, the abundance, and it gets better and better and better. I love it. And she's close to work.
Very cool. That's awesome. So two real quick for me. One is I'm part of this major program at work, and there was a lot of things that I had to do in a very short amount of time, and I didn't know how they were all going to get done, and some of them were completely beyond my scope of understanding and influence. And I literally had no idea how it was going to get done. But it was my job to get it done, even though I had literally no idea how to get it done. And I put it out in prayer, and everything worked beautifully together, and a deadline was met, and tomorrow there's another phase of the project kicking off, and everything just fell wonderfully into place. And stuff came from all sorts of places I had no idea where it was going to come from. So it was just beautiful to watch it all fall in together. And then another one, a little more material. Jane was driving to work the other day, and she stopped at a red light, and a dump truck was in front of her, and he thought he was too far in the intersection, so he started to back up and backed into her car, crunched the hood, and then they got exchanged information, but then they went their separate ways. There was no police report, and I had a similar incident some time ago, and the woman at the time was very apologetic. Oh, I'm so sorry, but then she refused to take accountability for the accident. It was a whole thing. So we put into prayer that it was all going to work out wonderfully and harmoniously, and the other insurance company is accepting the financial responsibility, so we don't have to pay our deductible, and the car's going to be fixed soon, and life is good. So there's that. So it works with big stuff and small stuff and work stuff and car stuff and housing stuff and stuff. It's all good stuff. Okay. And now we have some announcements.
All right. This scintillating information can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org. We do a community check-in and meditation twice a day. They're fun, inspiring, transformational, and they're less than 15 minutes. We do them Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and at 6 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m., and Sunday at 6 p.m. They're open to everyone, and we use the same Zoom meeting to get in here today that we use for the meditations. Please join us on our Philly Spiritual Adventurers group on meetup.com. The Women's Circle meets via Zoom on Thursday, October 22nd. Please contact Sandy or Joe for any details. As a civic reminder, Election Day is coming. Please make a plan to vote. There is still time to register or to sign up to vote by mail. You can also verify your voting status by going to votespa.com. Reverend Bill posted a practical prayer that our country has a strong and compassionate leadership that brings us together in health, prosperity, and freedom. It is on the website and it's on our YouTube. Strongly recommend that we check that out. We gratefully accept donations and payments via credit card or PayPal. You can use the donate button on the website, or you can mail a check to the office in Ardmore. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work. There is a short technical rehearsal that's on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. If you'd like to join the team, let me know. I'm Sarah. Reverend Bill and the practitioners do practical prayer sessions by appointment. And after the celebration today, Joe will be available for a miracle in a minute prayer at no charge. We will leave the Zoom meeting open for us to talk amongst ourselves at the end. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sarah. And I know we've got some folks joining us from around the world, actually. So Votes PA is for Pennsylvania residents. I'm sure your state has one. And there's also, it's Biden supported, but that doesn't matter to me, iwillvote.com. You can check out all sorts of voting information there. So register and then vote. So now is the time in our program we'd like to recognize visitors. So is there anybody joining us for the first time? Feel free to turn on your camera and wave to us, hit us up in the chat. Hi, Heather. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks. I did the weekly meditation morning meeting, but I haven't been to the Sunday one yet.
And now you have. Welcome. Thank you. Feel free to go onto our website and sign up for our newsletter and give us your contact information, and we'll follow up any way that you like, between completely ignoring you and stalking you till you want us to leave you alone. It's completely up to you. We're good with that. Anybody else? Okay. So we have a special blessing for you, Heather. And we're going to invite everyone to rub their hands together, create a little warmth and good energy. And we'll send this out. You are the bright light of divine love. Thank you for shining your light with us, and welcome. Yay. Now, if we were in person, and when we're in person again, this is the part where we all run around hugging each other. But since we're all Zooming, we're going to send Zoom love and hugs out to each other while Alyssa sings us another song.
Thank you, Breen. You can't stand on your own. Feels like there's nowhere else to go. You're not alone. All the odds are against you. They close the door, say you can't get through. But that's not the truth. When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a heart, there's nothing they can say to tear you down, make you feel like no one's on your side. 'Cause I'll be there to tell them we can do better, we can do better. Don't hide, decide we can do better, we can do better. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We can do better again. You're fighting, there's no use up on their pedestals like they can't hear you. But they do. Make them listen, make a difference, make them see what they've been missing. It's up to you. When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a heart, there's nothing they can say to tear you down, make you feel like no one's on your side. 'Cause I'll be there to tell them we can do better, we can do better. Don't hide, decide we can do better, we can do better. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? We can do better again. You can't stand on your own. Feels like there's nowhere else to go. You're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. That was beautiful, as always. Now we're going to do our Flames of Faith, brought to us by Jennifer and the Flame Cam.
We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Thank you, Jennifer. And now it's time for a reading. And Carla is going to read for us.
Good morning, everyone. My environment is saturated with the presence of good. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand, there are pleasures forevermore. That's from the book of Psalms, chapter 16, verse 11. If we cannot demonstrate the presence of good where we are, we shall never be able to do it at what seems a better place. The human mind likes to think that distant pastures are greener, but we know they are not. Good is the result of right thinking based on right motives. It's not a location. It is an atmosphere which has to be revealed by us wherever we are. There's no more of the presence of God in a great cathedral than there is in your own home or office. Principle is either everywhere, evenly present and active, or it isn't a principle. An unpleasant environment is a challenge to us to see God in action at that place in the universe. Jesus had the ability to see God everywhere and in all people. He knew and demonstrated omnipresence. We too must make this demonstration right where we are, and we also know how to do it. Where I am, God is. The presence that fills every great cathedral fills my home and my place of business today. There's no confusion where I am, for the peace of the Almighty surrounds me, and I know it. I live I live and move and have my being in the one mind, which is forever thinking rightly, thinking lovingly. The harmony and the order of the universe now fill my life and world with good. I'm surrounded by it. I am filled with it. I sense it in all things and find it in all people. I joyously acknowledge God where I am at every instant. The life, love, and perfect action of truth are mine now. The environment is saturated with the presence of good, and I live in peace this day. And so it is.
about your life. Don't know much about your world, but don't wanna be alone tonight on this planet they call Earth. You don't know about my past, and I don't have a future figured out, and maybe this is going too fast. Maybe it's not meant to last. But what do you say to taking chances? What do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground below, or hand to hold, or hell to pay. What do you say? What do you say? I just wanna start again, and maybe you could show me how to try. Maybe you could take me in somewhere underneath your skin. So what do you say to taking chances? What do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground below, or hand to hold, or hell to pay. What do you say? What do you say? And I've had my heart beaten down, but I always come back for more, yeah. There's nothing like a love to pull you up when you're lying down on the floor, yeah. So talk to me like lovers do. Yeah, walk with me, walk with me. What do you say to taking chances? What do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground below, or hand to hold, or hell to pay. What do you say? What do you say? Don't know much about your life. I don't know much about your world.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Alyssa. So some things are impossible, and some things are inevitable. And the interesting part is that we think we know which is which. And then there's also the continuum between them. So some things are impossible. Some things are just improbable or unlikely. Some things are routine, they're normal, they're predictable. And then there are the ones that are inevitable. And we can get into the nuance on those. And I love the part in the reading that they gave the two possibilities of a principle. Either a principle works always, everywhere, for everyone, or it's not a principle. So there's only one definition of a principle. When we're describing something that's a principle, it just is. And that's That's the part that's inevitable, because it always works, and it always works everywhere. So what I want to talk about today is the difference between a miracle and a coincidence. And in a lot of ways, it's how we explain it. The miracle or the coincidence or whatever it is that unfolds after we set about an intention or a plan of action is something that shows up somewhere in the spectrum between impossible and inevitable. Now, if it were inevitable, we wouldn't be praying for it, because it's a done deal. Impossible actually changes a little bit. Everything that we do now, at some point, somebody could have considered that to be impossible. Right now we're having a Zoom meeting where people are participating simultaneously from as far west as Phoenix, Arizona, and as far east as Portugal. Now, and this is a bunch of people doing this relatively casually on a Sunday morning with electronic devices that we just happen to have. Now, not long ago, that would have seemed impossible. And then after that, it would have seemed unlikely or improbable. And now it's routine. And it just falls into the category there. So impossible keeps on moving, it's on a retreat. The things that are impossible is getting smaller. So the difference between a miracle, which is something that either we can't or haven't explained, and a coincidence, which is something that we seem to have a natural explanation for, is actually either storytelling or marketing. It's the way that we tell the story. I had the experience in watching the vice presidential debate this week of seeing two well-educated, well-spoken people telling a completely different story about the state of our country. And obviously it's politics, it's spin, but that's what it is, it's storytelling. And you can describe any of the things that are going on that actually happen in terms of a miracle or in terms of a coincidence. When we do prayer, what we're looking to do is to get a new experience in our life. We're going to change the trajectory and the course of how things are going, from having a project where we don't know what we're doing, and suddenly it all comes together, and we wound up being the project leader who made it all happen. Or, even to the extent of, I loved Sarah's story. It's like she got exactly what she was asking for, exactly what she was praying for, and then use that as guidance to say, oh, let me put one more ingredient into this request, because it should be pleasant as well as being productive. And the infinite power in the universe, the principle, only has one answer. It always says yes. It always says yes. And it says yes through the natural unfolding of events. It was completely reasonable for everybody who Sarah saw on her trip to the beach to be pleasant and empathetic and supportive. And it was completely possible for everyone to be a curmudgeon. And it just so happened that when Sarah set her intention to be productive, she got the curmudgeon. And when she set her intention to be productive and in a pleasant environment, she got the pleasant person. It's a coincidence. It's absolutely a coincidence. And what we get to do is invite the coincidences to happen. So prayer is our structured way of inviting coincidences. As Breen pointed out in his prayer work story, it is completely possible for somebody who backs into another person's car to just leave him hanging. And it is also possible for them to take complete responsibility. I had an experience once where I had parked my car at 30th Street Station in the underground parking, and for whatever reason, this caustic stuff dripped all over the car and really made a mess of the hood. And the Amtrak folks said, well, it's not our responsibility, so there's nothing that I could do. And I wasn't going to pay the insurance deductible, so I just had this icky hood on my car. And then I was parked outside of the penitentiary, Eastern State Penitentiary, and having coffee with a friend. And there's a school bus, and I was parked behind the school bus, and I noticed that the school bus exhaust pipe was at about the height of the grill in my car. Didn't think anything of it, went for coffee, went back. There's a hole in the grill of my car, and the hood is crunched up. And it's like, well, that's awful. And so I contacted the people at the penitentiary. I said to school bus, and there was only one school had a trip here, so I think it was Haverford Township. So I called Haverford Township and talked to the transportation office, and told them what happened. And long and short of it is, they fixed my car and replaced the hood that had been damaged at 30th Street Station. Now, I wasn't praying for Haverford Township to repair the damage done by Amtrak. I was simply open to the natural unfolding of circumstance, and it all aligned. By a happy coincidence, I got my car repaired at no expense to me. These things happen, and they're available to happen all the time. And what we have to do is make sure that what we're praying for, or the coincidence that we're inviting, isn't something that we consider to be impossible. Because if we pray for something and we believe it to be impossible, then that principle that is everywhere will say yes to our belief that it's impossible. What we need to do is open ourselves up to the possibility, however remote it is. If we move the needle even just a tiny fraction off of impossible, then anything becomes possible. I've told the story before. I spent a lot of time as a rock climber. Started in climbing gyms just for exercise, and it turned into a spiritual practice. And then I started climbing outdoors. And it's really amazing to be in New Hampshire, climbing up a 300-foot granite cliff. And first of all, that there are little nubs to hold on to on the face of a cliff that you can get from the bottom all the way to the top is a pretty happy coincidence, because that's what makes the climbing possible. But you also, from time to time, see a tree growing out the side of the cliff. So you're going granite cliff, and there's a pine tree or an oak tree or a cedar or whatever. It's growing out of the side of the cliff. Now, if you're doing gardening and you wanted to plant a tree, you wouldn't start by looking for a big rock to plant the tree in. And you certainly wouldn't look for a vertical rock face to plant the tree in. So it is pretty unlikely for there to be a tree growing out of a granite cliff. But what happens is there are cracks, there are openings, there are fissures, just the way things are configured. And what happens is some debris, some leaves, some dirt, some bird dung, whatever, falls into the crack. And then the seed falls into the crack. And the rains come, and the seed germinates. And all it needs is that opening, that opportunity, and starts growing roots and starts growing into a tree. And I have seen 40-foot trees growing out the side of a cliff. And all it takes is the opening. So our responsibility is to make sure that we know that there's an opening, or accept the possibility that there's an opening, to let it go from impossible to unlikely. And instead of wishing for it, we can go through the process of doing an intentional prayer, a practical prayer, to align ourselves with the infinite creative power that creates everything, set an intention for this new experience to come into our lives in a way that's powerful, positive, personal, and present tense, and then settle into the gratitude of actually having that in our experience. That's a spiritual practice, is to be able to go through that process and invite a new happy coincidence into our lives. Sometimes we don't know what we want. Sometimes we know we want something. I want something good, but I don't know exactly what it is. At that point, we can do a prayer for clarity and insight and guidance. And the infinite universe that knows everything is more than happy to provide us with wisdom, insight, and guidance. as long as we're quiet enough to hear it. When spirit calls and we let the call go through to voicemail, we have to wait. Spirit will eventually call back, but in the meantime, we're on hold. So we get to participate in whatever the spiritual practice is to bring that new experience about. So we can have that transformation in our lives. And it can happen in any area of our lives. I mean, I love prayer work stories because it just completely runs the gamut from, the transformational experience at work to somebody coincidentally, met somebody, to, changes in health. It works for everything. And the stories are so rich and so diverse that it's wonderful. Now, I said that miracles and coincidences are the same thing being described differently. And when you read through scripture, there is a lot of talk of miracles, and they're miracles. There's that whole, in the beginning, let there be light, and there's the miracle of creation that started. And scientists talk about the Big Bang. So it is possible that it's just different languaging for the same event. In the beginning, darkness and void, singularity, and let there be light, bang, now there's everything. And it all traces itself back to that. There are numerous stories of spontaneous healing. Take up your mat and walk, and the cripples can walk. And even raising the dead, Lazarus rise. And assuming that those stories are true, there are actually ways that we can explain those as well. Back before there was sophisticated medical technology, it was apparently pretty difficult to tell the difference between somebody who is in a coma and somebody who is dead. So, some traditions have a wake where they wait a while to see if the deceased is going to come back to life by themselves. So is it possible that Lazarus was in a coma and he woke up from his coma by coincidence when Jesus told him to wake up? It's possible. That's a way to explain it. And we don't know because we don't know exactly what the circumstances were then. We don't even know what our country is like this week because we got different people describing it different ways. So how are we going to know something that happened 2,000 years ago that wasn't written down until 50 years after it happened? So, and then there are the other ones, things like the parting of the Red Sea. Cool story, great visual in the movie. Not the sort of thing that happens. Although vertical walls of water do happen. If you've ever been in a crevasse in a glacier, that's what it is. It's just the water is frozen. Steep sides on both sides. On one side, it happens when waterfalls freeze. Pretty unlikely that the Red Sea froze. It's kind of salty and in relatively warm weather. Again, we don't know exactly what the circumstances were. There's all sorts of tidal things and the scientists try to explain it. But then we get to remember that in scripture, the stories are either historical or metaphorical or metaphysical. So when we're looking at a sea that's blocking us, an ocean that's keeping us from our good, that's keeping us from our promised land, then what do we need to do to get the sea out of the way so that we can move through? So that's a wonderful, rich metaphorical story that doesn't actually require freezing the Red Sea. There are lots of ways that can happen in consciousness. And it's a great way to tell the story and convey the idea without actually having the freezing happen. Prayer results are the natural unfolding of events. They are happy coincidences that bring the good into our lives. And good is how we label it, because it's all good. Somebody who wants, I want power. Okay. I want unlimited power. Okay. But you really don't, because our sun is a thermonuclear reaction, and that's a lot of power. And most people can't handle that much. I mean, I need SPF 30 when I go out on a summer day. So we don't want unlimited power. And by the way, that's one star out of billions that are in this galaxy. The universe has plenty more energy than I can handle. So what I want is to have that natural unfolding of events coming about in a way that brings more good, more joy, more love, more happiness, more prosperity, more health and vitality, and more creativity into my life, into our lives, and into our community and into our world. I don't need to have the sun on my street. That would be unpleasant. So when we're setting the intention for the good that we want to have, the first thing we need to do is make sure that what we're saying we want is actually what we want. We're spinning the story in a way that's going to be uplifting for ourselves and heads us in the right direction. And then we need to make sure that it's not stuck on impossible. We open ourselves to our good. We invite it, we allow it, we get out of the way, and the universe says yes. So this week, I invite you to invite some happy coincidences, to enjoy the seasons as they're changing. Say thank you to a maple tree for being such beautiful color. Be involved in the creative process. Allow, open, invite, and then report back with a prayer work story, because you deserve all good. So it is. Thank you.
Teach me how to love you. Show me how to trust you more than with my words or with a song. No, it's not been easy to live life down on my knees, but with faith I know I'll carry on. There is more to see than with my eyes, but fear can sometimes leave me paralyzed. Yes, I know that I'm not in control. Ooh, but it is well with my soul. The enemy is against me, arrows all around me. Never knew the fight would last so long. In seasons of depression, I plead for your protection. Make me right, I'm tired of being wrong. Every time there's hope, it seems to die, and the voices all around me feed that lie. Everything tells me to let go, 'cause it is well. It is well. Oh, it is well with my soul.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. And we're gonna do some meditation. I wanted today to do a meta meditation because I'm struck by the sense of separation. And I think a meta meditation where you offer kindness to everyone might help to reset that a little bit. So get settled in your chair to find a position of comfort, feet flat on the floor, sit up, essentially just be comfortable and take a few moments to think about your breathing. Just focus on your breathing. So when we do a meta meditation, you start by thinking about someone who has been kind to you. And I'll go through this, but we offer them goodness and to be happy and well. And then we move on to different situations and different people in your life. So start by taking a couple of slow, deep breaths. Breathe in, hold it at the top, and relax. One more, take a deep breath, hold it, and relax. Release. And one more breath. Hold it and release. So bring that image of someone who's been kind to you, someone who makes you smile, somebody who may have just inspired you, even though you've never met them. Bring an image of that person in front of you and say to them, may you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. Just breathe into that. May you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now let's move on to a friend. We'll offer the same wishes to a friend. So bring an image of a friend to your mind, see them in front of you, and offer them the same goodness. May you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. Just breathe into that. Now let's offer loving kindness to a neutral person. Someone you don't feel strongly about either way. Could be somebody you walked past on the street, could be a cashier in one of the stores, someone you spoke to on the phone. You're offering this to them simply because they exist. You're not indebted or challenged. Bring an image of that person to mind and say to them, may you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. Next, we'll offer loving kindness to a person with whom you're having difficulty. You can pick somebody that the difficulty is really minor, or you can go for the gold and find somebody, think of someone who you're having a great deal of difficulty with, whatever. But just bring an image of that person to your mind and say to them, may you be safe, happy, and well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And finally, let's offer loving kindness to anyone and everyone. Anyone in particular who comes to your mind, the world in general. May all beings be safe, happy, and well. May they be peaceful and at ease.
May all living beings be safe, happy, and well. May we all be peaceful and at ease. Breathe that in. May all living beings be safe, happy, and well. May we all be peaceful and at ease. To whatever extent that fits into what you believe could be possible, what is the smallest opening in impossibility that could be for all living beings everywhere to be safe, happy, and well, for us all to be peaceful and at ease? To whatever extent that's possible in our own minds and our own belief structure, let's set the intention for that. So we open ourselves up to that infinite power, that divine presence that creates everything, that has created everything, it continues to create everything. That one creative force that is the source and substance of everything, everyone, everywhere, every minute, every moment, every activity is that one infinite power and presence expressed in a particular way. And since that's true anywhere, that's true everywhere, and that's true of each of us. We are each expression of that infinite love taking particular form as us, with that same power to set a new creative intention and release it into the creative law. So I know that each of us is safe, happy, and well. We are all peaceful and at ease. And we are inviting that good to spread into our loving relationships, into our communities, into our challenging relationships, and into the world. May all living beings everywhere be safe, happy, and well. May we all be peaceful and at ease. And knowing that this intention is up-leveling consciousness in each of us, in this group, and in the world, I'm grateful for the even more profound expression of this good. I'm grateful for the new and better way that all living beings are experiencing being safe, happy, and well. That we're all more peaceful and at ease. And so with gratitude for this good, with gratitude for the awareness of this creative principle, with gratitude for the ability to set this intention and let it loose into the creative law, I do so. I speak this word of truth. I set this intention. And I let it be. I know it's so. And so it is. Amen.
So it is.
Go ahead and bring some movement back to your extremities, your fingers and toes. Maybe shrug your shoulders a little bit. And as you're comfortable, you can open your eyes and return to the Zoom room as Alyssa sings another song for us.
I just wanted to preface this one really quick. So I'll be turning 21 on Thursday, and this past year has been quite a whirlwind, and I wrote this song about that feeling, and you will all be the first to hear this song because this is the first time I'm playing it live, so I really hope you enjoy it. Feels like I've lived a lifetime in just a matter of months. Feels like I've been dreaming and I've just been woken up. Thought I knew all there was to know about myself. Turns out I know nothing, and neither does anyone else. I've fallen, I failed, I rose, I prevailed, I loved, and I've lost. I've hidden away and I've given it all just to take without knowing the cost. But people change, rearrange your view. People stay, but some just pass through. People try, and that's all they can do. After all, we're just people too. You love your neighbor, but do you love yourself? You're good on paper, but your mind is up on the shelf. 'cause I prevailed. I loved and I've lost. I've hidden away and I've given it all just to take without knowing the cost. 'Cause people change, rearrange your view. People stay, but some just pass through. People try, and that's all they can do. After all, we're just people too. People change, rearrange your view. People stay, but some just pass through. People try, that's all they can do. Oh, people change, rearrange your view. People stay, but some just pass through. People try, and that's all they can do. After all, we're just people too. After all, we're just people. Thank you.
Wow. Beautiful, Alyssa. And happy birthday. Happy birthday. Quite a time to turn 21 when you can't go out to a bar.
It is quite a strange time.
This is a strange time. And this is an opportunity we have. This is our wisdom share, where it's one of the seeds that's been planted during the talk or the singing or the reading today has brought something up for you that you'd like to give voice to. This is an opportunity to do so. Just raise your hand and come off mute and share. Anybody? Joe.
I think the song Alyssa just played was a happy coincidence after the meditation.
Yep. Breen.
I would like to thank Joe for that meditation. I've not been having thoughts of loving kindness for some people.
I've seen your yard signs.
And, it's a challenge. But thank you. Thank you, Joe.
I share that, and I think that's why I picked it.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Happy birthday, Alyssa. Your music goes in and goes down into my heart and just touches every string in there. So thank you so much for that nourishment. And Reverend Bill, your talk, I don't know, there's just this certain way of stimulating the mind and the heart at the same time, like the creativity of the way you think and the fact that it goes right into my heart as well. So thank you. And Joe, the meditation was amazing. So I feel so nourished. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Sandy.
Heather asked a question in the chat, and I get to do a twofer here. Because first of all, a shout out to Luke. It looks like this just kind of comes together pretty easily, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. And there was a bit of a struggle this morning getting the YouTube live up and running. Apparently the YouTube company was not particularly cooperating, but we are on live stream and that gets converted into a recording. So the answer to Heather's question is that you can go back and hear that song again on the New Thought Philly YouTube channel. So there you go. And now I think it's Sarah's turn.
Yes. Thank you, Alyssa. You always make me tear up a little bit, and that last song you just played was beautiful. So thank you. And now I will go into it. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift that you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way you share. We don't have a basket today, but there is a donate button on the homepage. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen, so we can all unmute and say it together. I live
in an abundant
universe.
I live in an
I am one with
One with infinite source of all good. I'm the center of conscious prosperity.
I enjoy the
Enjoy the richness of life.
My
I bless my gift.
share my gift.
Share my
gift.
Gratitude, joy.
I know that as I give,
I
do
do
receive.
So it is.
So it is.
And we've got one more song.
I'm just a sailor in a great big sea, searching for what's meant for me. And I thank my lucky stars every single day. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. When the storm begins to blow, when I've lost my way back home, oh, there is an answer. Oh, there is an answer. There is a ripple to every wave, a rhythm to the days and nights. And all our thoughts, they make the world go round. All our efforts multiply. So make a change and you will see. One small step is all we need. Oh, there is an answer. Oh, there is an answer. There is no difference between you and me. It lies beyond our history. And if we only take the time to see, we're all we need. Just take my hand and see me as a sister. Look inside and you will find love exists in every kind. Oh, there is an answer. Oh, there is an answer. Oh, there is an answer. Oh, there is an answer.
Yes. Thank you so much, Alyssa. And thank you, everybody, for your contributions and your presence. Normally, we like to stand up and make a circle. It's a big circle now. So what I invite you to do instead is to turn your mute off. They take the consciousness of the person who's in the screen near you, and go ahead and repeat after me. I am the love.
I am the love.
I am the light.
I am the light.
I am safe, happy, and well.
I am safe, happy, and well.
I am peaceful and at ease.
I am peaceful and at ease.
I let the light shine.
I let the light shine.
And I let the love flow.
And I let the love flow.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you so much, everybody. Hang around in the Zoom room here. And Joe is available for urgent prayer.
Hey, Bill?
Yeah.
So I have something to share, a couple of things. Anyway, I wanted to relate to the crack in the wall, which I think you're nuts, but anyway.
For the climbing or for the story?
Climbing, right.
Oh.
But I have, that is so not for me. I had, about a year ago, I had a cactus growing in my gutter. Same type of thing. My lawn guy took it out. It's in the ground now. But anyway, we're like, what is that? It was just a little guy. Now it's really big. So that was cool. And the other thing I didn't share in the prayer sharings is last week I had a little session with Breen, which was wonderful. Thank you, Breen. And I had some back pain and I had to go to work. So I felt much better after the job that Breen did for me, the fabulous knowing that he did for me. And then I didn't say anything when I got to work, but one of the girls I work with gave me kind of unsolicited, but some pure CBD oil. And I have felt fabulous ever since. So Breen, thank you so much. And, it all worked out and I have not had any pain whatsoever this whole week. So I'm very happy. So thank you.
Love that.
Yay.
Awesome.
Not bad.
Yeah, this stuff works. Feel
Yeah,
free.
sure does.
Happy birthday week, Alyssa.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Thank you so
Alyssa.
Alyssa, great people are born in October because my birthday was a week
Yeah?
on Friday. So
Happy belated
Belated
birthday.
Birthday, Breen.
Happy belated birthday, Breen.
Alyssa, we're each at different milestones on the age path.
Milestone, huh?
Yeah, big
The
6.
big one.
Whoa.
So you can still celebrate because my birthday was in April and I had a Zoom party.
Nice.
Aw.
We had a happy hour and it was a blast.
I
So
did too. And my birthday was in April. When's yours, Linda?
sorry.
My birthday is also in April, and I also had a Zoom party. When was
Was
yours?
it? And it was so fun, right?
So greater people are born in April.
Oh, yes. We are. Yes, we are.
What date are you, Linda?
Congratulations. I'm sorry.
April.
Date.
At the 8th.
Thank you. 16.
Well, I'm older than both of you. I was born in the 17th.
No, you're definitely not older than I am. But anyway, thank
Older than I am by far.
Telephone.
Hello.
Happy day, everybody.
God call. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah.
Love you all. Always love this every
Wonderful
week.
guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks.
I'll get it, guys.
It's a God call.
I intentionally don't schedule the God calls for during the celebration anymore. It was fun once, but
What about right after?
sometimes.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. See ya. Lunchtime.
Lunchtime. Woo. All right. Have a great week, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Gonna go join the fam downstairs. Hey guys.
Great week.
Bye. You too.
Thank you.